Hey guys, I'm Caleb Giddings, aka Mr. Revolver, and we're out at the range today to talk about the difference between hit factor scoring and time plus scoring. Now, these are also more commonly referred to as USPSA scoring or IDPA scoring because USPSA is the largest shooting sports organization that uses hit factor scoring, and IDPA is the largest shooting sports organization that uses time plus scoring. So for the rest of this video, I will use the terms hit factor and USPSA scoring interchangeably, just like I'll use the terms time plus and IDPA scoring interchangeably. So what is hit factor scoring, USPSA scoring, what is IDPA or time plus scoring? Well, we'll start with time plus scoring because it is actually way more common to encounter time plus scoring in a match than hit factor scoring because in addition to IDPA, it's used by most 3-gun matches, it's used by some of the precision rifle series matches, it's used by Steel Challenge, it's used by I-Corps, so it is a more common scoring format than USPSA or hit factor scoring. Time plus scoring is very straightforward. You take your given time on the stage and then you add time for any sort of penalties that you may have. In Steel Challenge, your penalties are pretty dramatic. If you miss a plate, it's plus 3 seconds. In IDPA specifically, which we're going to talk about, your penalties are also very dramatic and they affect the way that you attack the stage versus how you would attack a USPSA stage, and we'll get to that in a second. In IDPA, using their time plus scoring, any shot outside of their down zero zone adds a full second to your time if it hits in the down one or what you think of as the C zone, right? So that whole second penalty for a bad shot is a huge penalty. And then if you fire a really bad shot and it lands in the down 3 zone or the D zone, you're going to get plus 3 seconds. So that is a gnarly penalty. The way IDPA penalizes shots outside of the down 0 or A zone makes you need to focus on getting those hits in that down 0 to a level that wouldn't be the case with USPSA. And why is that? Well, USPSA or hit factor scoring calculates points a little bit. Hit factor is a fun way of saying points per second. That's how your hit factor is determined. So for example, we're going to shoot a 12-round stage here in a second. In USPSA, that stage would be worth 60 points because each shot to the A zone is worth a theoretical 5 points, not 6 points. It's worth a theoretical 5 points, right? So 12 times 5 equals 60. If I shoot all 12 shots in the A zone, then we divide 60 points by whatever my time was, and that result gives me my hit factor. Whoever has the highest hit factor on the stage wins the stage, and there's some other scoring things that go into that with USPSA, but ultimately what you're trying to do is get the fastest hit factor on any given stage. That means that there are times where possibly shooting a Charlie is more beneficial than taking an extra 0.3 of a second or a half second to clean up your sight picture and shoot that alpha. Let's go shoot it. Honestly, I think I've talked enough. I think I've explained it. Again, hit factor, points per second. We have a 12-round stage. We're going to go shoot it. I'm going to shoot it for hit factor scoring, and then I'm going to go shoot it for IDPA style scoring, and we can talk about the difference once I'm done shooting. Dumped a Charlie, two Charlies out of 12 shots in a 10-10. Reload's a 341 on the move. That's not bad. Let's see if I can do better. I feel like there's a sub 10 in here. Now, dumping those Charlies, not great if you're shooting an IDPA match. Boy, howdy, did I get close to that no shoot, but 2 Charlies after the reload. Damn it. Really pushing, 10-11. So when I am pushing, I throw Charlies, because I shot 2 on that run, 2 on this run. Let's take un poco off and see what we get. Like, let's say, hey, I'm going to shoot this to shoot all alphas. Like, intentionally to shoot all alphas. Alright, we take just a hair off. Clean it up, shoot all alphas, right? Right. I did, in fact, take just a hair off. I shot all alphas in 11-18. This is where IDPA scoring is important. In USPSA, that would have been a bad idea. I would have had a better stage score shooting 2 Charlies and being a second faster. In IDPA, that is completely not the case. In IDPA, my total time with those 2 Charlies would have been like a 12-18. In this, 11-18 clean is the preferable result 100% of the time. That's why it's important to know the rules of the game that you're shooting. Okay, so you've seen my runs. I explained it a little bit while I was shooting, but let's get into the nitty-gritty details of that. Using minor power factor scoring in USPSA, a Charlie hit is worth 3 points versus an alpha hit that's worth 5 points, right? So if you take that run where I shot like a 10-18 and do the math on that, my 10-18 with 54 points would produce a higher hit factor than when I shot it for all 60 points and shot it in 11 seconds. The difference isn't a lot, but it is a lot if you're trying to win the stage. And if I'm shooting a couple of Charlies, but I'm doing it a second faster than the guy who's shooting all alphas, I'm gonna win, especially over short stages like that, where there's a lot of points at play and the hit factors get really, really fast. Imagine if I was shooting this with a gun that you could just reload by sticking a magazine in the bottom. My hit factor would probably have been, you know, in the 7s or 8s for a stage like this, assuming I had to do a reload at some point. But with IDPA, I would have lost. My penalties on that 10-18, 10-ish second run for 2 Charlies, 2 down ones, put me into 12 seconds versus my time plus scoring where I shoot it clean and I'm only at like 11-ish seconds. So that really matters. Now, does this matter if you're not going to shoot IDPA? No, it doesn't. Does this matter if you're not going to shoot USPSA? No, it doesn't. But it does matter if you're looking at these sports as a way to practice your defensive handgunning skills. You need to look at those sports that emphasize the skills that you think are more valuable. So that could be IDPA, which places a much higher emphasis on accuracy, or USPSA, which does place a higher emphasis on speed. You have to be accurate. You can't just blaze Charlies and expect to win a USPSA match. But there is, when you're talking about that old saw, the balance of speed and accuracy, that balance point shifts depending on what sport you're shooting. In IDPA, the balance of speed and accuracy balances a little bit more towards accuracy, and in USPSA, that balance of speed and accuracy balances a little bit more towards speed. Ultimately, it's up to you, the shooter, to decide which sport best suits your needs, and then, once you do that, get out there and go shoot some matches. I'm Caleb Giddings. Thanks for watching.